Welcome to the Rehearsal Room podcast. This is part 2 of our Women in Music episode of the Rehearsal Room podcast. Please enjoy.
Guys, could I,
Literally.
let's shift to a different subject. This one I want to be, in a sense, it's kind of geared toward the lighthearted, and so I'm going to start with this. So I don't know if you guys knew this. I grew up in gymnastics. And when you get older, you start having muscles. But when you're like 9 and 10, you're just the kid that like doesn't play baseball, and all your friends think you wear tights.
Yeah.
And it's like, you're like, yo, this is a hard sport, dude. Like, you know, but it's considered, quote unquote, a feminine thing, right? So there's boys sports, and then there's girly sports when you're a young guy. That's kind of how I was treated. And I had this real chip on my shoulder. And, you know, then you get older and like, you're like, yeah, well, I got abs. So what's up? You know, whatever. I don't have abs anymore. So what I'm wondering is, you know, I'm trying to set that up to say, have you guys experienced the same thing? Aldara, you know, is drums always been talked to you like, well, that's kind of more of a guy instrument? Or London, you're in rock and roll. I mean, just to be, you guys need to go listen to her music. London sounds like Led Zeppelin, like, and AC/DC, period. Like, it's not like, or Heart, you know, like they play rock and roll. You're not out there sounding like, you know, Olivia Rodrigo, who's also great. But yours is there's an intensity about it.
It's a show.
It's a show. There's big old drums.
I say that because it is a literal workout for me, and I love that.
And here's where it merges.
As a drummer.
There are big old vocals and big old drums, and those come from the females. And so I'm just wondering for you two.
Get with it, boys.
Exactly. Like, does that?
They do.
Does that kind of hit sometime? I don't know how to ask the question. That's my question.
Well, that makes me think, you know, like that. I love, because like I said, I've been trying to be more picky about like who I play for now more days, and like I love it when the music is lively and you have, you know, because it's hard to find like lead singers oftentimes that got like the whole package. You know, it's not just like the vocals, and can control it. And London being able to do that at such a young age too is awesome. But also like the stage presence and the professional side of it too. Like on and off stage is what I think makes it all work well. You know, and then having a band around her that can support all that, because you can't just bring that and have, you know, da 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 on a guitar or whatever.
Right.
You know, boom on the bass. Like you gotta like pack a full rounded punch with it. You know, and so for me, literally right behind her most shows is really fun, because me and my personality, it's fun when it's dynamic, I guess is the best word to say. Because I'm a dynamic person.
So forgive me, guys. I want to rein this in on a very specific question, only because there's certain people who I know are listening that I want to hear y'all's answer. I think what I'm trying to say is, first off, Aldara, that's fantastic. Thank you. But what I'm wanting to say is, it shouldn't matter whether you're a boy or a girl playing a quote-unquote genre of music. Yeah. Has it been, and like this list we read, the most successful artists of all time are females, period, on the radio. And yet, does it seem like you guys are kind of going up current a little bit? Because it's rock and roll or drums it's more of a guy sound. That's more of a, why didn't she sound more like Christina Aguilera? Why doesn't Aldara play the violin? You're a big, you know, drum, you know, and that's what I'm trying to say. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think
it shouldn't matter, but has it been painted to you guys that it does matter?
London, what do you think?
Yeah, so I started out singing Christina Aguilera and singing Taylor Swift because I thought that. Yeah, I do too, and I thought, because that's what girls do.
There you go.
And then I because I grew up in a very small conservative Texas town where everyone on the radio was a dude singing country music or like Carrie Underwood, and Carrie Underwood's a powerhouse. And then when I was in high school, I started listening to Led Zeppelin a lot and getting into Beatles and Queen. And I realized, like, the part that's intriguing about them, their songwriting, their music. I can do that too. But for a long time, I had, specifically older men just be like, "What do you know about that music?
You
Why
see?
don't you do this?"
Yeah.
And I said, "Well, I discovered it at the age that you discovered it.
There you go.
I cultivated my sound based off of my influence, just like those artists did when they were young. And it shouldn't matter if you're a girl or a boy. Like I said, I like a lot of my favorite rock artists are the androgynous, effeminate men who blend the two and do it proudly because it's music. It's not meant to be categorized by gender. And same with performers. It's really hard going to venues that have they're good venues, but 90% of the acts they book are guys.
Yes.
And a lot of times they're surprised with how professional I am and how good we are. And that's the part that hurts sometimes, because as a woman being told you're actually really good.
Oh, there's
when-
the
Oh,
sentence.
yeah.
That's what I'm
Yeah.
trying. Aldara, have you heard Aldara play drums? She's actually really good. You're like, have you heard London? She's actually very good.
Oh, that makes me think.
I just wanted you guys to. I didn't want to be like, say this on the podcast, but I'm like,
Well, no,
this
that made me kind of really think, and yeah, I'm glad you brought that up, Linda, because it's true. It's just, and I've had some people be like, along like those types of people to say that also kind of comes with, oh, you're good for a girl, or something.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm doing this. I'm studying
It's
the same
music,
thing.
man.
Like, yeah, music, like it's art.
Yeah,
right.
man,
There's so
right.
many different forms of art. So if you think of it that way, it's open to interpretation, right? And, I think the line of being able to take that, and if you're doing it as a profession, what's the difference between any other profession, But some people take it, oh, I'm just going to be art and kind of whatever,
I love that you guys have embraced. So I'm going to say this, and then if you don't mind, there's one question I don't want to run out of time for, and I only have you guys until I got 10 more minutes.
We're actually really
I
good.
know. Y'all are. You're all
We're
stars.
trying just
The
like
whole world
that.
needs to hear you. The thing that I love is that when I've seen both of you work, you're not only does your skill set or your music or your artistry or all three say that for itself, it's speaking for you as people, not females, but as people. But you also embrace the fact that the world's not going to change, that your art is it's part of your art's, how do I say this? It's kind of your job to change the world a little bit, and that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? As opposed to saying, well, they're just not going to, I don't know. I just kind of feel like you guys are up to the task. I've seen you do it in your lesson rooms. I've seen you do it in, on the stage and drums out there. I've seen London do it on the stage, and I just see that. It's like you guys are like, yep, that's how they think. It's okay.
I think it's just that influence. Like, in the last couple of years, I've tried to think of it that way, in like more of a positive way. Because like younger and being a female, the whole thing, and just trying to like, as a teenager, trying to like muster up that whatever it was to roll with the guys, and that would put me in certain situations, some good ones, some bad ones, and trying to work through that. And now as a mid-20s, try to be like, this is just my job. I'm going to do it like any other profession. Enjoy it, make it the best I can, and the people I'm meant to encounter through it, try to have that good influence with, and if I get to be like a silly goofball with lessons or a crazy animal, like lately people are like, you're an animal on the drums. I'm like, thank you. Like, I'll take that, because like that meant I was actually getting to express myself. In the past year playing with London too, it's been that animal, like intense, dynamic rock edge, I guess, to it, that's paired up.
Aldara, that's fantastic. London, do you have any closing thoughts on that kind of thought before I ask you guys this last one?
Yeah, so
Boys versus girls.
Boys versus girls. So I found I realized at about age 19 that I was suppressing myself as a woman in the artist field, like wearing baggy clothes, wearing layers and jackets and everything to cover that up in hopes that they'll take me more seriously if they're not thinking about me the way that like the sound guy did. And I realized, because I was teaching lessons at a different music school at the time, before I met Coulter, And I realized that I don't want the girls that I'm teaching that look up to me as an influence and as someone who they're like, I could do what London's doing one day, and think, but London's hiding. Because
whoa,
in this
That's
industry, sometimes women have to, and it stinks to think like that. But once you embrace that and you become that powerful thing, because think about it, you have a teacher at school, they're standing up and giving a lecture, and everyone in that class is paying attention because they're knowledgeable. They're confident with what they're talking about 90% of the time. Some teachers are like, what's happening? And they've been doing it long enough. I think of the music industry as the same thing, whether you're drumming, whether you're doing session vocals, whether you're performing live, whether you're doing anything, taking lessons, part of the school, whatever. You practice, and confidence as a woman is your most powerful tool to be successful in it. And not letting, just like you wouldn't let a bully or someone really get you down, it may hurt for a second, but you forget about it. I've already forgotten about the do-si-do situation, because it does not affect your worth as a musician, as a person. And I use all of that fuel to write more music, to book more shows, and say, I'm going to do better next time, so there's not a doubt in anyone's mind. And that's another reason why I wanted Aldara to be there. I think the girl power in a band, we have a 50-50. We've got 2 guys, 2 girls. That's and they great. Love seeing a girl drummer. They love it. And they're like, your drummer's so awesome. It's awesome that you're both in the band. Are y'all going to have it all be girls? And I was like, I mean, my husband's my guitar player, so I can't really kick him out. But it's just, it's being a powerful being in the industry, and not letting, like I said, not letting anything get to you, because sometimes it can feel like boys versus girls, but I mean, it's the girls are awesome. So,
and can I add too, it made me think, I've also been let go of a couple like steady gigs, that some of my favorite gigs I've played on when I was younger, because I was a female.
Of course.
Like, and I found that out. Sorry, and it, like, I remember going home, like, ugh, for different reasons. But there are a couple I can think of now that, you know, I just had to kind of, like, back then, the way I coped with it was just like, you know what? That was great when it lasted. And then for some reason, because some of them I couldn't make sense of until, like, later on. And then would find out, oh, for that reason, you know, and move on to the next thing. Let it be what it was. But it sucked in that way, like, actually knowing that was specifically because of that, and there's nothing I can do about that at that point, you know. So learning like as a teenager, and then just like, okay, well, I guess I wasn't meant to play that for much longer than I thought, you know, and take that experience, move it on to the next thing, you know.
Perfect.
So that's been a big thing for me too, but yeah.
Well, guys, I just really appreciate y'all taking the time to do this, you know. I guess one thing that I'll close, just because, you know, as a teacher here too, this goes for any person, whether you're, you know, short, tall, big, small, you know, boy or girl. Eventually what you think and feel comes into your music. That's just how it is. So if you've got that negative cycle going of, it's what I call the ghosts. You know, if you hear the ghosts talking while you're singing, you start singing off pitch. If you hear the ghost talking when you're playing drums, you start rushing.
Up a little bit, yeah.
You know, if you hear the ghost talking when you're writing, it takes you longer to finish the song because you don't know if it's good. You know, are they going to like it? Well, who's they? I don't know. You know, so, you know.
I've never thought about that.
Yeah, the ghosts come in all different forms, and I'm just thankful that you two were willing to share with the students here at Rehearsal Room, which I love that it's kind of half and half. It's 50-50 pretty much. You know, it's not all girls here taking all quote-unquote girl instruments, which I don't even know what that means. But I get asked that sometimes. No. Yeah, I get asked that. And it's not all dudes. It's not a bro place. Play a bunch of bro. I don't even know what that means. You know, it's neat to hear y'all's perspective, because in so many ways I have so much to learn from 2 professionals like yourself. Okay, so here's the 30-second question. You each get it. Okay.
Don't give me a timer.
I'm sorry. That's what makes it fun. Constraints make creativity go. Something that exists right now, a tool, technology that excites you, that you wish you could have utilized 10 years ago when you were growing up as a musician? Maybe even 15 if you want to go back 15. A tool, a technique, some technology, something that you go, man, if I had had this, I'd be a millionaire drummer right now. I'd be singing in the Super Bowl, whatever. London, I'm gonna let you go first.
Honestly, just my recording equipment, my interface, and my mic. I don't have a super fancy one, but if I would have taught myself or learned or been taught how to use Logic and record my own things when I was younger,
And can
I
you
was recording videos for Facebook back when Facebook was the primary social media for us young people.
Yeah.
I was using my laptop camera, my old brick laptop, my laptop microphone to record covers to post. Right. And if I would have had this, which this setup is not expensive,
I'm sorry to interrupt you. Can you tell people out there, since technology sounds like you got some studio in there, and you don't have to nail it, within $100 or so, what would it cost someone to put together something decent?
Oh, so
you've already got a laptop. What's it cost to get a mic and a quote unquote interface?
This mic, I actually had a client from like England send it to me because he wanted a certain sound on his record and he said I could keep it. This mic is a nice one, a warm tone mic condenser. It was $80, $20. $80, $20 for the little soundproofing shield I have around it, and
we're at
Coulter
$100.
$100 in my interface. We got used and it works perfectly. It was just out. It was like a damaged box. It was $100. So
we're talking decent pair of boots for $200 on aldo.com or recording studio. I love that. And she makes a living off that, guys. And I just she's on what's called Fiverr. And aside from her professional recording for herself and her performing, she supports her family. I mean, she and Coulter both work, but she works from home and makes a great living recording for all these people using what you have. So I'm hoping dads and moms out there don't hesitate. If you've got a kid like I have a kid, or we got kids like here that want to record, we actually have a website where you can find those tools, and give us a call. We'll show you how to do it. Aldara. Did I cut you off, London? Did you want to finish anything else on that?
No, that's it.
That's it? Would it change your life?
Golden.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, a tool, piece of technology, would it change your life 10 or 15
I would say the
years
same
ago?
thing, because like back
recording
when I first started, I mean it's advanced so much since then. So like I guess if I'd had like what we have now, I think it would have made it so much more efficient to get that done. And all you need is your microphone, interface, speakers, and headphones.
It's pretty crazy
to kind of be able to do it somewhat semi-professionally, and then let the creativity flow after that.
The good news is everybody can do it. I mean, studios have been reduced to they're a pack of crayons.
I wish I'd given myself more permission to do it back then.
Yeah. Ladies, thank you so much. Does anybody have anything else to add? I feel like I've learned so much from you both, and thankful for your time. Yeah.
Girls and rock
thanks
and
for
roll.
letting us talk.
So real quick, though, so that they can find you guys on a stage soon, I know that you play elsewhere, Aldara, and I know you're busy, but the two of you could be found playing together. Your next show, London, you probably may know it off the top of your head.
Yes, so we are playing in Houston on November 12th at the Do-Si Do's Barbecue and Whiskey Bar. Their food is insane. We're doing a stripped-down acoustic show. And then we've got a full band big show coming up on November 26th in Brenham. But we're going to throw in some local dates in between there. So just if you want to follow me or something, you can see when we're going to be out there. And Coulter also plays in the band too. So you've got a little rehearsal room reminder on the stage there.
I just love seeing the different outfits we all get to. London lets us have fun with that.
Yeah.
Not just like musical, expressions, but like fashion too, which is a lot of
What
fun.
up? Where's my invite? I don't see a keys.
I don't
see a B3 player up there. I'm just sitting in the audience waiting. No, I'm just kidding.
We have to make B3 rock and roll. You could.
Did you say make B3 rock and roll? This is, guys, and we are at the end of our podcast.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks for listening, everybody. Take care. All right, we're done, ladies. Hey, guys, y'all were awesome. Thank you. We have so much stuff. I think I'm going to have Coulter split this up into 2 things.
Nice.
Thank you again.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Yeah, and if you guys don't mind.